Good afternoon. This is Joshua Slusher reporting from Christian Worldwide News Network. I'm standing in front of St. Paul's Church in Clear Springs, Maryland. And I'm here to tell you today about one of the most important historical personages that has ever lived. His name, Saul of Tarsus, or as most people would know him, Paul the Apostle. He was a man who lived during and shortly after the time of Jesus, died under the persecution of the Roman Emperor Nero. But in the words of Paul, describing himself to other people, what would he consider the most important fact to tell to somebody to describe who he was? The answer to that question would be Paul, apostle, a bondslave of Jesus Christ. His first and foremost descriptor of himself was the fact that he was enslaved to Christ by Christ's love for him and the love that he now has for Christ. In other imagery that Paul would use, he would consider himself to be the very body of the head who is Christ. So attached to this his king, so attached that he has been adopted into his family. He is now a blood relative through communion. He has gone from having no rest to having his only source of rest be Christ. And everything else in the world that claims or that we could look to try to find our rest no longer holds that possibility for him. It would be a man who says that everything is because of Christ. He would say, I am crucified with Christ. Paul himself died when Christ was crucified. As he would want you to know that in Christ you have died, you have been buried, and your new self is one who is only submitted to Christ and his kingship, under his rule, his authority, his command, obedient to him, loving him, resting in him, and that is who Paul was.